until we go for a 회식, and then I was excluded from a toast for being American.
Run that back. You were excluded from a toast because you're American?
Yes. So
hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Korea Unfiltered. Today's episode is going to be another exciting episode. But before we start the episode, I always say this last in the video, but I'm going to say this first in the video. Please make sure you subscribe, like, and share this video with your friends. And if you're a podcast listener, make sure you give us 5 stars so we can get up in the algorithm. But today's episode is really exciting. The guest has been in the studio for a while because we set up a little late, but the vibes have been vibing. We're here. But introducing today's guest, Shay.
yes.
Shay! I thought I messed up for a second.
No, you got it perfectly.
Yeah, this is Shay, guys. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Shay. I am a public school elementary teacher here in Korea. I am originally from the U.S.
Where?
Alabama.
She a Bama girl.
I abandoned Alabama every single time.
Now she's like, Korea's the way, guys.
It's honestly
It's the way.
Honestly,
If you were to, honestly?
if you knew Alabama, if you're from Alabama, sorry, but
Damn.
you already know that we're always like, we're from the States.
Oh, damn. We're in the States. Just the States.
Just the States.
Somewhere in there. Somewhere.
I'm mysterious. I like to be mysterious.
Very demure.
Very
I
demure.
hate
Very
that
demure.
word. But if you were to move somewhere else in the States, where would you move? Have you ever thought about that?
Somewhere cold. I really like the snow. I know I was born in the summer, but I love the cold. So I was thinking like Michigan.
Ew.
Maybe
No
like
offense. No, oh, whoa. I just realized there's
whoa,
probably somebody from Michigan watching
the
this.
face was
I'm sorry.
crazy.
I'm sorry, y'all.
The face was crazy.
I don't like cold.
I love the cold. The snow is like my happy place because you can just stay indoors.
But that's like vitamin D deficiency as a black person, you know?
Yeah, I know.
You're going to be popping pills then.
But
Gotta the vitamins. Just gotta keep popping
just
them.
keep popping the vitamin D. But
Gee, you must hate summer in Korea then.
no, yeah, it was so hot when I studied abroad in Daegu.
Yeah.
Defrica is so true.
Yeah,
When I
yeah.
tell you, it's dry and wet at the same time.
Yeah.
And you just get sticky and dry at the
that
same
was
time.
disgusting.
It's horrible.
Yeah, I always say like people from Daegu are always like, oh, Daegu is as hot as Africa, and as a Kenyan, I'm like, first of all, it's worse. It's Africa is let me say Kenya. Kenya is way better. Like
Yes.
it's disgusting in the summer in Daegu.
It's so gross. And then you have all of the cicadas just
Oh my god,
all
the
the time.
noise. Just the noise.
All the time. And you sit there and you're like, this is what hell feels like.
Most likely.
This is what it is right
yeah,
now.
most likely. That's interesting. So how did you end up coming to Korea the first time you came?
So the first time I was working with the Sejong Institute at my college, and they were like, we're running this program, but we didn't have enough people.
Yeah.
So they put it out to the student workers, said, hey, would any of you guys like to come? We'll pay for you.
Yeah.
And I was like, free trip, free credits. I can graduate early. Of course, I would love to go. So I came with my adoptive mom and first came to Korea, loved it, came back another time, loved it, came back, and now I'm here.
Okay, let's go back a little bit. You've said a lot of things that I know what you're talking about, but people probably don't know what you're talking about. Let's start with the Sejong Institute. What's that?
So the King Sejong Institute is like a place where you can go and learn about Korean language and culture, and they're all around the world. You said they have one in Kenya. Auburn, Alabama is actually where I studied, so there's a King Sejong Institute there, and my adoptive mom is the director of the institute.
Okay.
So she was like, hey, you could go on this trip
Yeah.
and we could go to Korea together.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? I might as well. It's 6 credits. It's like a way to get out of the States because I had never traveled outside of the state of Alabama.
Wow.
Let alone gone outside of the country.
Right.
So I was like, you know what?
Oh, wow.
This is the first adventure we're having.
Yeah. And it's international too.
It's
to
international.
Korea.
It's 14 hours by plane.
Oh, God. That's the
So
worst part.
that
14 hours, girl.
14. Ooh, when I
On
tell
the
you,
plane?
I was not prepared. I was not
This is your
prepared
first trip.
at all. And I'm like, this is fine. 2 hours in, I'm like, this is cool. This is great. 6 hours, you're like, get me off of the plane.
Yeah.
Now you're 10 hours in, you're like, it's almost there. It's fine. 12, you're back to, please get me off.
Like 14 hours is crazy.
Please let me go.
Yeah.
For
Like,
your first trip, it's like, it's not great.
and the
It's
feet
not.
swelling. You can't really move a
The
lot.
dryness. Like,
yeah, these days I do
everything.
skincare on the plane. I don't care if some people stare at
Oh
me.
no,
I'm doing my
that
skincare.
mask is on. I'm about to have beautiful skin on
Yeah, I'm
and
like-
off that plane.
God forbid I have dry skin and then I break out. No.
Oh, absolutely not.
Let me
No,
go
no, no,
crazy
no,
on
no,
this
no.
plane. I don't care. Let me do my skincare.
No, and it was summertime, so getting off in the dryness. Oh no, absolutely.
That's
not.
a lot. That's a lot. So in university, or is it college or university? Both of them.
Both.
Both of them. Okay.
Both of 'em.
guys.
Both of
Were
'em.
you studying Korean?
I did not actually study
Oh.
Korean, so they don't offer a Korean major
Oh, wow. Okay.
at my school. So they offered French, German, and Russian.
Russian is
Yeah,
a
Russian is
random one.
Russian is a choice. It's not my choice.
Yeah, that's a
but it's a
random one.
choice.
Yeah.
So I did public and professional writing, English, and a minor in Asian studies with a concentration in Korean.
Oh, I did a minor in Korean too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because they don't offer it as a major, and I'm like, why?
I wouldn't take it
don't
as a
you?
major though, to be honest.
Why not?
What job can you really get from that? Like apart from like maybe being a translator, which very respectable job.
Yes.
But outside of that, I feel like I don't know.
Yeah, it's very hard to major in a language
Exactly.
and then get a job after that. But I was like, I mean, I might
You're
as
ready.
well. I was ready. The
Especially
first
in
time
the
I came
States.
back.
I think if you come to Korea, obviously there's so many things you can do with a Korean
Yeah.
degree. But in the States, I'm like, I couldn't see myself doing much with that.
Yeah, no. The
The minor, though.
closest like we had to being able to have a job
Mm-hmm.
would have been in Duluth, Georgia, not Alabama.
Where is
Never in
Duluth?
Alabama.
Georgia.
Exactly.
Isn't that where? Oh, okay. Her friend is also in the studio, guys. And
Yes.
she's from Duluth, Georgia. Or she lives in Duluth, Georgia. Live in, right?
I never lived in Duluth, but I know where Duluth is. It's basically Koreatown.
Oh, okay. It's K-Town in Georgia.
It's K-Town in Georgia. Like every Korean that I know lives in Duluth.
Yeah.
Like my friend has just moved to
To
Duluth,
Duluth.
and she's Korean.
Koreans love going to where the Koreans are.
Oh yeah, they make like a
love
little community and they block everybody else out.
And they stick to their community, which I respect, but come on, guys.
Come on.
Venture
Come on,
out.
please. Please.
out,
We're nice
guys.
people, I promise.
We try to be nice
Like,
people. We're not that bad.
we're
Kind of. I'm just kidding. But yeah, I've noticed like Koreans really do love sticking to their
They do.
communities. Yeah.
They do.
Yeah. Okay, so you ended up coming for the first time. How was your experience the first time you came here?
So the first time I
And
came
what year
here,
was it?
It was in 2019.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So it was right before
The vid.
the vid, right before
Girl.
Rona 19
Yeah.
came and ruined everything.
Yeah.
And I had hair then.
Why'd you say it like that?
Because
everything. By the
Because
way, I had
if you're
hair
if
then.
you're watching right
Yeah.
now, I have very short hair.
Yeah.
Because I donated my hair back in 2020 when I came back.
Yeah.
So I've been enjoying this life ever since.
Girl, you don't gotta do much in the morning.
No, I just wake
Be
up
happy
and
as
I go.
hell. Yeah.
But 2019, I think the first big experience I remember is being on the subway in Daegu. And I was standing up because, you know, the subways can get wild. So it was a packed subway, and this little child was standing next to me with his mom. And I just hear him talking, and I'm not great at Korean at the time, but he's like, Mom, look, there's a foreigner. Like, I've never seen someone with her skin before.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, she smells like chocolate. And he looks at me and goes, "You chocolate?" in English. And I just go, "Not chocolate. No." He says, "Taste like chocolate?" No. And this is when he sticks his tongue out
Oh.
and tries to lick my arm. And when I tell you, his mom pulled me away like the
Not
plague.
even him. He was like, move.
Like the plague had already started and said, "Don't you dare." Oh my gosh. And I think it's a recurring thing because she's like, again,
She's like, sorry.
why
my
is your child
my
trying to
child
lick
does
people?
this a lot. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
How do you just go around licking people?
You allow your child to just take a taste. Even if I was made out of chocolate, you have to ask first.
Oh, he did say you chocolate.
You chocolate?
To him, that was permission. It was like, this is my permission right now.
He said, yes, I can.
oh
Yes.
my goodness.
It was definitely an experience.
Yeah.
And in that same subway ride, after they had gotten off, I had long curly hair. So
Yeah.
this older woman comes and she just runs her hands through my hair and says, wow, so soft. No context, nothing. And then just walks away. So I'm like, is this what I have to endure the whole time I'm here? I was there for
Yeah.
a month to study.
Yeah.
I'm like, is this what I'm going to have to go through? But other than those, like, really weird things, like, nothing else happened while I was studying abroad the first time. So
How did that make you feel, like, in that situation?
it felt really weird because, you know, in the States, there's a lot of people that have my texture of hair. They have like afros, they have different protective styles, and you see those all the time. But I guess here, my my coworkers at the time and my people that I was studying with, they're like, oh, well, people never see hair like that because we had a Korean buddy system. So I told them about the incident. They're like, oh, well, people never see you guys, because Daegu at the time didn't really have a lot of foreigners there, especially not near the Kaemyeong area.
Yeah.
So they were like, they don't mean any like bad
Any harm,
things.
yeah.
But for me, it was very like awkward. One, your child tried to lick me. That's weird in and of itself.
That's weird.
But also just like stroking someone's hair like they're a pet. It just feels very, not charged, but it feels very ignorant-ish. Like if you would have asked, if you would have said something before, maybe it wouldn't have been such a
Yeah, like a shock.
like a don't touch me, like a cultural shock kind of moment.
Yeah.
But it was definitely a shock that no one else blinked. No one else batted an eye, that she was just running her hand through my hair. And I was like, oh, this is very, very weird and would never happen in the States. Ever.
It would never.
already know that
It would
no
never
one would
happen.
ever. We all know the protocol.
Oh, no, you first ask.
Yeah.
And even then, people usually don't even
then
ask.
yeah.
They just look from afar and
They're like,
compliment
no,
it.
we worked on this. This is no, do not.
You're like, don't run your fingers through my hair.
And-
it's also like, I don't know where you've been. Like, your hands in my hair. Like, bro.
Like, I don't know what germs you're carrying
Like,
around.
hands carry a lot of germs.
Like, oh my gosh, if he would have
Yeah.
licked me, I think I would have had to burn the entire arm.
I don't even know. Like, me being a germaphobe, a child who I don't know licked me. I don't know what I would do. Like, I commend you for not doing anything. 'Cause I don't know what I would have done.
Well, I tell you, I was looking at it and I'm like, oh my gosh, is this happening right now? Is this happening? Is this happening? Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh.
Just be a
And
little
just trying to like, oh no. But his mom, luckily, like,
Pulled
oh
him.
my gosh.
Yeah.
I'm like, why do you let your child do this?
Yeah. She should
do
probably
this.
like sit down and talk to her child and
Stranger
be like,
danger.
yeah, you can't be doing that.
Don't lick
Don't
people.
do that. It's weird.
It's not a life
hygienic
lesson.
too. Yeah. Okay. So the first time you came, that was like the weirdest thing that happened. The first time you came, were you like, oh, I can see myself living here? Or was it more like a,
No.
oh,
So
okay.
Daegu at the time was really conservative. So the stares and everything was very overwhelming because I wasn't used to being stared at like that. It wasn't like they hated me or anything, but it was very much, oh, that's weird. Why are you here?
Yeah.
What are you here for?
Yeah.
And getting all of that attention was definitely not something I was used to. So I felt a lot of pressure to be a certain way, act a certain way, or to carry myself a certain way. And I was like, oh, this isn't it. Like, when am I going back to the States? Plus, if you've been to Kaemyeong, you know that it's a mountain.
Oh.
So I thought all of Korea would just be hiking 24/7.
It's a lot of this.
It's a
No,
lot
not
of
everywhere, but yeah, there's a lot of like,
very steep hills. And now I love climbing mountains.
oh, child, you're becoming a hiker now.
I'm becoming a hiker. But when I first came, I was like, those two incidents were really like, I don't know if I could deal with that on a long-term basis. That's kind of weird.
So you ended up going back, and what made you come back again?
So when I went back, I still stayed at the King Sejong Institute because I really enjoyed learning about the culture while I was there and also learning the language. So I stayed and we had a lot of events for Solal, Chuseok. So we would do all of those things, and people from the Korean community and the US community would kind of gather together. And I thought that was so amazing. And they would be sharing language.
Oh, that's nice.
Like, that's something that I could really get behind, because education has always been a really big part of me. So I knew I wanted to be a teacher. I just didn't know what kind.
Yeah.
And also, you know that teachers in the US have a really, really hard time. So I was wondering what can I do? And kind of seeing that community build, I was like, well, maybe I can give Korea another try. So at that point, I was getting my master's degree in teaching English as a second language. And they held the program again, and they said, well, you can come back and you can help us kind of guide the other students. I was like, oh.
Come back to Korea or come back to the institute?
Come back to Korea.
To Korea, okay, yeah.
Come back to Korea. We would be going back to Daegu, but this time I would be helping other students adjust. And
like a chaperone.
Like, kind of, yeah.
Kind of like a chaperone, yeah.
And coming back, there were teachers who recognized me from the first trip.
Oh, wow.
And they were so excited.
There's a mosquito.
I know.
Sorry, the mosquito's back, guys.
The
It
mosquito's
shows
here.
up all the time on this podcast.
His name is Harry. We're going to name him Harry.
That's Harry now, guys.
Harry.
Watch it be a girl.
Oh, Harriet.
Yeah.
But I came back, and there were teachers here that were like, oh my gosh, Shay, you cut your hair.
Yeah.
Shay, you're
I
back.
bet they were like such a dramatic change for you to like, cut your hair too.
So they were all like, oh my gosh, you're back. It's so great to have you back.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing here? And what have you been up to? Oh my gosh, it's so good to see you. And having them reassure me and remember me, I was like, well, maybe it's not all bad. Maybe it's not all horrible. Right. So I was teaching and I was helping out with the program. And it became like second nature to me. And I really enjoyed it because all of these people were now coming to me for help. And I really enjoyed helping people. And I was like, well, maybe being in Korea wouldn't be so bad. So my mom, she introduced DJEV to me, which is Daegu Gyeongbok English Village.
Your adoptive mom?
My adoptive mom. Yeah, my adoptive mom. And we went over that, but that fell through. So then I ended up with EPIC, which is English program in Korea. And so I was like, well, if I get chosen, then maybe I'll just move to Korea.
Yeah.
And end up, and I really loved it. And then I was hoping to be chosen to be in Korea because everything had changed from 2019. The second time I came was in 2021.
Okay, so still the vid, but not as
Still the
severe
vid,
as it was before.
Yeah, so not as like big, but there were people that were more welcoming at that point. So we would go to like Seoul and Busan, and we adventured around, and I realized everywhere is not the same. Like they're all different little
Super different
communities.
Yeah.
So I really, really enjoyed it. I was like, I could live here.
Yeah.
I could do a little something, make something shake here.
Not make something shake. Yeah.
So I ended up applying and being EPIC as my first choice because I didn't have to stay in Daegu. I could go somewhere else to a different area. So I decided, maybe Korea's it, because if I want to be a teacher, which I did at the time, my adoptive mom had a really big part in that, and my godmother as well, because she's also an educator. So I was like, you know what? I could be a teacher in Korea. It seems like a very good job, a very beneficial job. I could help people, but also have the stability of being a teacher as well.
That's true, yeah.
So I was like, maybe this is a long-term thing for me.
And when you were hopping around different cities in Korea, was there a city that stuck to you that you were like, I would love to? Was there a city that stood out to you and you were like, I would love to teach here?
I think that city would have been Incheon.
Incheon?
Incheon, I know, it's weird, right?
That's random, okay.
I know, a lot of people say, oh, Seoul, but
Yeah.
I really can't do Seoul,
Really?
I
Incheon is where
cannot
you were.
Yeah, Incheon was
Wow.
where my first choice was.
Why Incheon? Because I have a friend who lives there right now.
So Incheon was where I stayed by myself when the program ended, and I stayed in this like little Airbnb in this high-rise apartment. And eventually, after like a week or so, all of the neighbors would just, "Hi, how you doing? Good morning," or just try to communicate with me. And I was like, "Oh, that's really nice." And then I also have friends that live in Incheon as well, and the schools were very beautiful and well maintained, and I lived next to a school in Incheon, and there was an English teacher there. And I ran into her, and I was like, "Well, how is it teaching in Incheon?" She's like, "It's great, it's amazing, like there's a lot of international people here, and there's an international population, you could have a lot of friends." And I was like, "Well, if I'm going to Korea alone, I might need to be somewhere where I already have friends."
Yeah, like a little community.
Yeah, like a little community, so I'm not here and just twiddling my thumbs. And
Yeah.
I wish I had friends.
Yeah.
So Incheon was my first choice.
Wow. When you say it like that, it does make sense because I do feel like people in Incheon are a bit more friendlier, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
And for your
especially
neighbors
the
to come and
foreigners.
try to even like talk to you,
I know.
girl, that's not a Seoul thing. I'll tell you that.
It sure isn't. Seoul is very busy.
Very busy.
It's very
Very
busy.
busy.
There's a lot of cars everywhere. There's a lot of people everywhere, but also people here are very like very like
Nose up and everything.
yeah. And when I tell you, we can be on the subway
Yeah.
and the stairs will be wild, wild. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And you feel it's like uncomfortable.
Yeah, you feel like, oh, maybe I don't belong here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe I should get off this train.
Some people are quite like stuck up in
Yes.
Seoul. But I do feel like it's also with the whole Pali Pali culture, it's more prominent in Seoul. So nobody has time for anybody. in Seoul.
No, they're bumping into you. Nothing said, but that's also Bali Bali culture.
Yeah,
like
no, excuse
the
me.
little things will happen.
Yeah.
So they're always like pushing on the subways. They will push you in, push you out. Oh my!
That's something I really hate. That is part of the culture shock that I have yet to get used to is how they will push getting out the subway.
Oh, yeah.
Especially if you're also waiting to get out the subway and you see an ajumma just push you out the way and I'm like, ma'am, I'm also leaving.
I was also on my way out,
Yes.
but now I'm going to stand. Now I'm going to stand
Yeah, now
here.
you gonna have to wait.
Now we're both stuck on this
Because
train.
I'm just like, what? Like, I don't understand. Like, I understand maybe you do have somewhere to go, but you see me trying to also leave.
Yeah, and there's also people that can't wait for us to get off to get on. Exactly. So there's nowhere to go. There's
Always something.
people just
Like, rush hour in Korea is,
Oh
I
my
hate
gosh.
it. There's always something that happens that I'm like,
it's the sardines for me.
we're all like this. Just like, and it's even worse if you're the same height as the person in front of you. Oh,
yeah,
my
you
goodness.
can't even see the board that shows the stops, and you're like, please let me hear it,
Yeah,
please.
you just, I have to turn my earphones down every time. I'm always like,
Yeah, I'm like, please.
okay, I'm not there yet. But it's even worse when somebody's the same height because you're like kind of looking at each other, but also not. But you can feel them
Yeah.
breathe, but it's like really like, this is too personal.
Oh my gosh! And if they turn around and you're just face to face
Oh my God.
and looking at them,
I hate rush hour
and
in
I'm
Korea.
like, please, just turn around. We
Yeah,
don't-
I just be on my phone the whole
like
time.
we don't have to do this.
so
You're scrolling through, closing
awkward.
tabs, opening tabs. It's fine.
I'm like, I'm not talking to anybody, but I'm pretending I'm gonna talk.
I'm pretending. Oh,
It's rush hour is so freaking awkward.
it's so horrible.
I just love when I get a seat because I'm just like, thank God.
Oh, when
I
you
have a
get
seat.
on and there's no one there, and at the very next stop, all of the people get on. You're like, ha, I'm not
Isn't that
moving.
nice? Yeah, I'm like,
This is my seat.
Yes.
I earned this.
yes. Till a pregnant lady comes and you're like, damn.
Yeah,
I
and
gotta
I'm like,
get up.
mm,
Because
I'ma
somebody
get
has
up.
already taken the pregnancy. You're like,
oh my gosh, it's like an old man that has.
oh yeah,
sat
it's always men. To be
in-
honest. Well, not always, but it's usually men. Yeah,
It's
they
usually
just don't care.
men.
They'll just be there like.
And I'm like, stand up. What are you doing?
I'm like, there's a lady carrying a whole human being in her. Can you stand up?
Can you,
Like, please.
sir? Come on now.
Yeah.
We know you had one too many
Stand
drinks.
up.
It's okay.
Literally. Oh my
Stand.
God. It's such an awkward experience to be in like rush hour here. But I feel like Incheon will probably be. Have you been in Incheon rush hour? How was that?
Yes, it was so much better than Seoul.
Was it?
Yes, it was so much better than Seoul.
Sorry. Keep talking.
It's more.
I know like
You're-
something is in my eye.
You're so safe. It's okay.
Okay, bet. Sorry, y'all. Sorry.
But Incheon rush hour, it's kind of the same Bali culture, but at least they wait for you to get where you need to be, so they're not running over you.
And like pushing you, yeah.
And also in Incheon, the streets aren't as crowded, and there's actually parking spots. Imagine
Parking in Seoul is non-existent.
parking in Seoul does not exist. There are no parking lots. People park on the sidewalk. It's crazy.
And it's really expensive. Like if you go to a parking lot in Seoul, it's
You have to
really
pay
expensive. Yeah,
so
sometimes
much.
it can be like up to $5 an hour. And you're just
Yeah.
like, for what?
Listen, I will stay on the sardine subway before I
Let me take
pay
that subway.
$5 an hour to be sitting here.
when I see people with like a nice suit on the subway, I'm like, I get why you're taking the subway too.
Yeah, it's like
I get
never mind.
I wouldn't drive either.
With your briefcase. I see you.
I see you, sir. Do that. Do
I
your
see
thing.
you.
Because sometimes getting to one place by subway can be like 40 minutes, but with like a cab or driving, it can be like an hour 30. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I'll take the 40 minutes any time of the day.
I will not be driving here. I have a driver's license, Korean, and I will not be.
You've never driven here?
I've never driven here, so
You're also kind of newish. Like,
I'm kind of new. I've been living here since February,
Mm-hmm.
so I was like, oh, I should get a car,
Mm-hmm.
right? No, they drive like we're in Mario Kart without the respawn,
Yeah.
but with the items.
Yeah,
Okay, so you'll be on the bus and
Yeah.
there's someone honking at you. We're on a bus.
Always.
We can't go anywhere. What do you want us to do? Drive on the sidewalk?
Always.
Do you want us to hop on the sidewalk
There's
with
no
the
patience.
pedestrians?
Yeah, there's no patience.
The
Yeah.
auto bikes as well.
Oh my goodness. I don't know how. I feel like these people don't care about their lives.
No, they're like, oh, I'll get where I'm going. Maybe.
It's literally a maybe, a question mark,
Maybe.
because they just drive so reckless sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
And I was just like, do you not care about your life?
Do you not see the strollers on
Yeah, they
the
don't care.
sidewalk? And they're like,
Yeah,
Like, oh,
all the
okay.
time. And they're not even supposed to be driving on the crosswalk because that's illegal. But you'll
Right.
still see them driving on the crosswalk. And I'm like, that's so
oh,
illegal.
and red lights are not a thing for
No,
them.
they're not a thing. They're like,
They're not a thing.
okay.
They're like, is there a gongcha? Is there a cop around? No,
The way
well,
they be playing with their lives out here, oh, child, I can't. Couldn't be me.
It's crazy.
I drive here quite often, but I also wouldn't get a car. Like, I'll rent a car because I
Right.
know exact. Sorry, y'all. I'm still fighting this microphone. It's been like a year now. But I'll get a car to rent because I know I'm going to take it back
Yeah.
as soon as I'm done with it.
This is not
But
permanent.
keeping it with me all the time.
Absolutely
No.
not.
And I wouldn't
couldn't.
rent a car to be in Seoul. I rent a car to leave Seoul.
We're renting a car to go out of the city.
Get out of Seoul. Not to stay here and drive around.
We're
Seoul.
renting it for a road trip. We're
Yes.
not doing it to drive around.
Because it's a mess. Oh my God. Anyways, back to your story. Sorry, guys. We talked about driving, which is a very unnecessary story. But sorry. Going back to the EPIC program. So did you end up getting chosen to be an EPIC, or how did
Yes,
that
so
go?
I was chosen to be an EPIC. A lot of it due to my qualifications, which I've learned are not very, very high.
To be an EPIC, or your qualifications are
To
high?
be a teacher in Korea,
yeah, girl. No.
period. You have to have
Yeah.
like a degree, some sort
Any
of
degree. Yeah.
teaching.
Oh, okay. Is it?
For EPIC, they would prefer someone
Oh,
that
EPIC.
has
Okay.
a little bit of teaching, but
Yeah.
without EPIC, let me tell you, if you have a degree in science, you could be a teacher
Could
in
be a teacher.
Korea.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I have a master's degree in teaching, as well as a TEFL certificate, as well as an English degree.
I think you had too many things because they're probably like, damn, she's a little too good, but we'll take it.
They're like, hey, please respond.
Please join.
now.
We need you. A master's degree.
Yeah.
I know they love to see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they were like, listen, don't even worry about it. Where do you want to go? Where would you like to be?
Your pick. Yeah.
So I was chosen, went through the interview process. Everything went smooth, good, great. I graduate in December with my master's. I am flown out in January
They
to
were ready.
Korea.
Yeah.
And we do training in February. So I'm like, oh,
Very fast.
I'm leaving everything behind in a month. So I graduate, move all of my things from Auburn back to my hometown.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, bye. I'm leaving the country
Yeah.
for an
Indefinite.
unknown-
Yeah, indefinitely because you don't know.
Yeah. So I'm like, bye, everyone.
How was that? Were you actually mentally ready to move to Korea, or was it just kind of like, because I have a job, I have to move? It's not a choice.
Yeah, so I thought I was. I
Mm.
thought I was mentally ready because I had already been here, you know, in Daegu.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I know how everything works. I know how the people work. I know how all of this is going to go. But I had never experienced having an actual public school job.
Mm-hmm.
And also trying to balance having a personal life and also not having my friends and my family to call and support me all the time. So I'm like, oh yeah, I'm ready. And then I cried during training and I was like, oh no, this is not what I thought. This
Yeah.
is like very, very different. It's very real when you have a big girl job because now,
Yes, that first big girl job.
woo, in a different country,
And you were not even prepared for it?
not even prepared for it. I was 24.
You're a child.
I was
Sorry,
a
anything
child.
under 25 is a child.
Yeah,
You were
I'm
a kid.
25, by the way. Now,
You're still a kid.
still a baby.
She's still a
I'm
child.
still a child.
Yeah.
Still wet behind the ears.
Wow. But you have a master, so
Knock that
yeah,
off.
yeah.
But it was very different. It was very hard hitting to say, oh, I'm an adult, like an actual adult. Like I can't depend on anyone else. Like I have no one else here except for me. And I have to be able to depend on myself when things get hard, when I'm all alone in this apartment and in this country that I really have only studied about. And everything is so different from studying about it and then actually being
Living in it, yeah.
thrown into it is very, very different. So I thought I was ready. I was not.
I can imagine, because I feel like people do come study, because I also studied abroad in Yonsei for 6 months when I first came to Korea. Well, not first lived for a long time in Korea. So I was like, oh, I know Korea because I've been here for 6 months. When you move here to live here, completely
It's
different.
very different.
When you're paying taxes, when you're paying bills, completely different. The experience is not the same anymore, because now you're an adult by yourself.
Yeah.
Like, of course, we still have our parents, but they're not there.
And they're a 14-hour plane ride away.
They're probably asleep by the time you're having these panic attacks, because
Oh,
they're just
yeah.
like, oh, it's time for us to sleep.
Yeah, it's a 16-hour time difference.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, Mom, it's like 8 p.m. here. And she's like, it's 10 o'clock in the morning. What would you like me to do?
Yeah. Like, how was the process for you to start getting comfortable living in Korea?
So since we're in a public school and we're with the EPIC program, we, of course, went through training. And that's how I met my best friend who is sitting over there.
She's right there, guys.
And that's how I met her. And being with her actually helped a lot. So it's very, very important to find people that you can connect to. Preferably people who also speak English, because you're going to miss that a lot.
Yeah.
Especially being a public school teacher and they know I speak Korean. They only function in Korean.
Oh, wow,
with
okay.
me, except for maybe a couple of teachers who want to practice.
Dang.
But I had to make my bank account by myself. I set up my Wi-Fi by myself. We have these managing teachers, but they're so busy with all of their other work because on top of managing us, they're like a homeroom teacher or an admin teacher. So them knowing I spoke Korean, they're like, bye.
They're like, you got it.
You bye.
Yeah,
Girly,
exactly. Yeah.
girly, go ahead and get all
Dang,
that.
you should have faked that
yourself.
Korean for a while at least.
I thought about it and then I was like, this is going to be really hard because I know some people who don't speak Korean and their co-teachers are like, can't speak Korean, can't speak English, can't speak at all. Bye.
Just leave you. Yeah.
Yeah, and they just kind of like abandon you.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm going to make this easier on everyone. But I didn't know it would be so hard on me.
Yeah, you made it
when
hard
they
for
knew.
yourself. Yeah.
I did.
Because
And
that was like a clutch that was gone now. Because they're like,
Yeah.
she's got it now. Yeah.
I had to make my bank account by myself.
And
Oh.
listen, Korean, when you're talking about bank talk, is not the
It's-
same Korean that I learned. I'll
It
tell
is
you that.
not. It is
Yeah.
not. So I was like, ooh, is my Korean good enough for this? Thankfully, it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
But there were some times where I'm like, context clues. Context clues.
Yeah.
But I was able to like make out the words. And I'm like, this is where I messed up. I should have pretended.
You should have faked that.
I should have been like,
yeah.
I annyeong
Haseo,
haseyo.
girl. Annyeonghaseyo. Like
Annyeonghaseyo.
from America, I don't know.
But it was such an adjustment. And then being in the apartment by yourself, you feel like you're in this little English bubble, right? Because you can watch all of your shows, you can do everything, you can talk to your family in English.
Yeah.
But when you step outside and you see everything is in Korean, and you have the ajumas and the ajushis staring at you, and you have people avoiding you because they think you can't speak Korean, it takes a toll. Because you're like,
mentally, it breaks you down a little bit. Yeah.
it does. And if you don't have people who you can talk to about it, if you don't have people that you've connected with, that you can share these concerns with, that have the same concerns, you feel very isolated. You feel very, oh, well, it's just me. Never mind.
You feel very othered. Like you're just
Yes.
other here. Yeah.
Yeah. And really, if you're in a public school, you're expected to be a teacher first and then a person. So you're expected to put your feelings aside. You have to hold all of that in because you're teaching.
Yeah.
Like, I'm teaching kids, like babies, and I have to teach them from the start how to read English. And English is a very hard language.
It's not easy. Yeah.
So they're very stressed. I'm very stressed. And if you have no one to talk to, that stress is going to build and build and build. And it was a very hard adjustment at first because I was like, I have no one to talk to. I feel very alienated at my school because on the first day, here's my VP parading the kids around, opening the English door and saying, hey guys, this is the English teacher. Wave to the English teacher. Okay, bye. Like I was a zoo attraction.
Goodness. That is a zoo.
Yeah, they're like, don't feed the animals. She is the animal.
Because were you even able to introduce yourself and say something? Or was it just like a...
No, it was like a open the door. Bye.
That is a zoo.
So
Dang.
it was very woo because the teacher they had before was from New Zealand. So she did not look like me. She did not look like me. So they're parading me around school. And also because I could speak Korean, they're like, this is our English teacher.
Now you're like a unicorn to them.
Yeah.
They're like, look at this amazing being. She does everything and anything. And also she looks different. Not
Also-
like the New Zealander.
Also, look, she was left in the oven too long.
She's like chocolate. You may lick her if you want to.
Yeah, she smells sweet. Like,
Oh my God.
and they don't understand that that's not
It's not good.
normal.
Oh, yeah.
It's not normal. It's not good. It doesn't make us feel like we're special. It makes me feel like you're like, don't tap on the glass.
It's weird.
I'm not an animal. And then
Yeah.
you add that to public school teachers. And the teachers also just ignore your existence. They're all very, oh, we have to get our own work done. Pali, 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 pali.
Yeah.
So you're like, I have no teachers to talk to. I have no one that I can even conversate with. I'm just sitting in this classroom alone all day until we go for a hueshik, and then I was excluded from a toast for being American.
Run that back. You were excluded from a toast because you're American?
Yes. So they were raising a toast. This happened at it was like the end of semester dinner. So all of the teachers are there.
Yeah.
We're having a good time, Korean drinking culture. I get it. They're going to have a lot of drinks, right? So they're like, let's raise a toast. And it was a teacher in powers, my VP. And he's like, let's raise a toast. So I raise my glass and I'm holding it. I'm like, okay. He looks at me, knows I can speak Korean, and goes, "너 말고." So really, like, not you.
It's not even, you made it seem very nice. It's like, not you. It's like that. Like, not you.
Yeah, 너 말고. And I pretend because I'm like, oh, he's drunk. Oh, there's no way. There's absolutely no way that he's looking at me right now and telling me to put my glass down. So I'm like, what? What did you say?
No, Margo is crazy.
So I hold it up a little bit higher, and he's like, 너 말고. 너 American이잖아. So I'm like, oh, never mind. It is me. So I
Because
put
I'm the only American here.
So I put my glass down, and I'm like, this sucks.
Wow.
This absolutely sucks. And at that point, I got up and I went to the bathroom. It was really late at night. I couldn't call my mom. I couldn't call anyone. So I just cried to myself in the bathroom. I was like, something needs to change in me or in them, and they're definitely not going to change. This was kind of like my wake up call to be like, if you're not comfortable with yourself, this is going to happen often. And if you plan to live here long term, which I was contemplating at the time, if you plan to live here long term, you're going to have to be able to steel yourself and be comfortable enough in yourself to say, okay, fine then. But I think it was when it really hit that none of the other teachers would stand up for you either. Because they all saw and just kind of giggled and went, ha ha, oh, he's drunk. And I'm like, even drunk thoughts
The truth.
are the truth.
Yeah.
If he didn't feel that way in the first place, he wouldn't have said it.
Yeah.
So I had to be okay enough after that to go back out, say, you know what? I'm feeling a little sick. I'm going to go. I'm going to leave. And I rode the bus because we had all driven there together. I rode the bus by myself 45 minutes back to my apartment, which is separate from the other teachers' dorms, by the way. I live by myself. They live in another apartment complex.
So you're even alienated in that way where they're not mixing. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, this is like, they just hate me.
Yeah.
They just hate me. And it's not that. It's they don't know any better.
For them, it's kitty kitty. They're very kitty kitty.
Yeah.
Like Koreans with the Koreans, foreigners with the foreigners.
Yeah. And I was like, I'm the only foreigner. There's nothing I can do here. Like, there's no one that's going to stand up for me that's Korean. I can't stand up for myself because he's going to be like, you're a foreigner teacher. You're a teacher. I can do what I want.
Because he's on top. He's higher than you. Higher ranking.
He's higher ranking.
Yeah.
And he's also an older man. And he's like, I'm an older man.
It's like my way or the highway.
Yeah. So I had to work a lot on myself and being okay with myself. Because at that point I was like, oh, I can finally be one of them. You know, I can finally kind of fit in. I can finally do that. And that was like my wake up call. You will never ever be one of them. And that is fine. Because everything different about me, I can instill in my kids. And I can teach them that being different is okay. That being different is not a bad thing. Being different is not a weird thing. It's not something to be afraid of. And if I wasn't comfortable enough in myself to be able to learn from that experience and also teach them, then I'm not fit to be a teacher and I need to go back home.
Yeah.
So fixing that was definitely like my wake up call when I was here.
Girl, I can't be a teacher. I'll tell you that because I would have been fired that day. I'm like, excuse me, American.
I thought about it. I wanted to be like, excuse me, sir,
like,
sir, you carry a breathalyzer. I think I'm not the one with the problem.
That's crazy.
That's
in the
bag,
crazy.
In the bag, and I'm like,
I'm like, who's the problem here?
Yeah.
Which maybe an American woman broke his heart or something. Why is he so pressed about you being American?
I don't know, but apparently it's not just me.
He just doesn't like anybody who's not Korean.
It's all the women.
Ah.
Yep, that's another
he's a typical
topic.
old Korean man who's in a higher rank.
Yep.
Sexism is crazy as hell.
It's crazy.
Crazy
It's
as hell.
so prevalent. So prevalent.
It's so obvious too. And it's even more hurtful that women can't even speak up for themselves. And even the men, actually. Let me say, nobody under him can speak up for you.
Oh, nobody.
No, not the men, not the women, none of them.
And it's because he's a person of power. You stand up to a person of power, that's it.
Oh, they will make sure you never get a teaching job ever.
Yeah. So I have to be like, oh, well, that happened. It's okay, fine. Cool. Yeah, I'm American. I'm going to go take a shot by myself.
Now listen to our national anthem.
Like, man.
Still going to be American. Like, yeah, that sucks. I am happy that you have gotten to this point that you're just like, never going to be part of the culture. I'm not even trying to be part of it. It is what it is.
Yeah, like I can appreciate it. I can go to the cultural fairs, the museums. I can appreciate it.
You can experience it.
And I do appreciate it. It's very beautiful. It's very colorful. It's very, very deep. And that's one of the first things that made me interested in Korea was the history, learning that all of these people donated their own gold for the national debt. And I was like, that's cool.
A lot of countries will never do that.
The U.S. would never. And I was like, that's such a cool thing to be able to do. And I really enjoy learning about that. But there are some parts that's like, but still being able to appreciate that culture and teaching others to appreciate another culture is how I think I've learned to operate. Not being Korean and being a part of Korean culture as in like, oh, I'm not American anymore, I'm Korean.
Girl.
Because you'll never be.
You won't. And they'll never accept
Let's
you
get that
as.
straight.
Yeah.
But you can identify a part in yourself that says, I appreciate Korean culture. I appreciate the Korean language. I appreciate why King Sejong created the Korean language was to help people communicate, to make it accessible to other people. I can appreciate those things.
Yeah.
But it won't be a part of my cultural identity. And I think that's where I kind of went wrong when I was coming here. Instead of making that, oh, I can appreciate it, I tried to, oh, I'm a part of it. It's mine. It's not. It's not. And you have to be able to identify as yourself, as your own cultural identity, African American, Native American, wherever you come from. You have to be able to say, hey, I'm just that in Korea.
Yeah.
Instead of, oh no, Korean. Hee hee.
Yeah.
Because,
Don't do
honey,
that.
baby,
You're going to need therapy if you think that, because you
Yeah.
will be broken down until you realize you will
Yes.
never be part of this culture.
yes.
Yeah. You were talking about how it's nice that you're able to teach your kids, your elementary school kids, that it's okay to be different. And I was thinking about that, and no offense to the white folk, but I think it's nice when kids from that young of an age in Korea are able to see you as a, as a Black woman, because when they grow up, they're not going to see other people who look different and be like,
That's
so
all.
they're gonna be like, yo, my teacher Black, like, what?
Like, I
my
don't care.
teacher Black, like, you know what I
Like,
mean?
that's fine.
Yeah, because I'm saying no offense to the white people, because like being white, I don't want to say it's similar to being Asian, because it's not, but skin color wise, it's not that big of a difference.
Yeah.
But being Black is completely different to these kids,
Yeah.
like they see you as freaking chocolate.
yeah.
See you as
You
chocolate.
smell like chocolate.
Yeah.
I hear it every day. Teacher, you smell like chocolate.
I'm like, girl, I don't know if that's a compliment, but thanks.
I'm like, at least I don't smell not like chocolate. Like, I'd
Facts.
rather smell like chocolate.
I'd rather also smell like chocolate.
But also, the teacher before me was from New Zealand, so she didn't look like me. So of course, when the students see me, they're like, "Oop, what's that?
That's different.
What's that?" Especially where I am.
Yeah.
It's a very isolated kind
Yeah.
of place.
Yeah.
So there are very little foreigners, and they're like, "That's different.
Yeah.
That's new."
But they're seeing it from a young age now.
Yes.
So when
and
they grow older, it's not even going to be weird.
they're not gonna be like, "Ooh,
Yeah. They're going to be like, oh my God. In elementary school, I had my English teacher was a Black woman.
Yeah, and they'll be able to have those experiences. So when they grow up later, and maybe they have kids, they can be like, "Oh, it's not bad. Like, you saw that person; they're still a person. They still care. They still do things that we do, but they're just different. They have a different
The skin color
culture."
is different. The culture is different.
Yeah.
The hair is different.
But my teacher was this African American lady, and she was so sweet and so nice, and she helped me learn. And the third graders call me mom.
Oh, wow.
Because I'm one of those teachers that
Yeah.
I love to listen.
Yeah.
I love to listen to my kids. So I always say, if you have a concern, if you don't know how to do it, if you have absolutely no clue, come to me during lunchtime. Come to me whenever. I'm not going to be mad at you that you came to me. I'm not going to scold you for not knowing, because they often get scolded for not knowing something that they weren't taught. So I'm like, don't be afraid to come talk to me. And having that exposure, they're like, "Mom."
That's so cute.
And they'll call me that on the street.
Yeah.
And you'll see these people like, "Oh my gosh,
Mom.
like what?
What
do
happened
you
here?"
what do you mean?" And I'm like, no, not my
Yeah,
actual.
not my mom.
I'm like,
but-
you guys, you can't do that on the street.
Outside of class, it's a little odd.
It's a little.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's if you want to share.
Yeah.
But I'm so comfortable with them that they're comfortable with me. So I know that in the future, if they see someone, they're not gonna be like, "Ugh, a foreigner."
Yeah.
Ew. They'll be like, "Oh, a foreigner.
Yeah.
Wow, I wonder where they're from. I wonder what they do.
Yeah, and probably the first thing they're gonna tell them is my teacher.
My teacher
In elementary school. It's always gonna be like that now.
Oh, yeah.
Because you're their first experience,
Oh, yeah.
and also it seems to be a very positive experience for them.
I try to make it one because I know they're gonna have some experiences with foreigners. Because I've had experiences with foreigners that's not their best, right? So me as a foreigner, I know, oh, this is kind of how people are. But for them, they'll be like, all foreigners are just off limits.
Yeah.
So I want to give them this good experience so they can not be afraid of different things. I want you to be able to embrace different cultures, to be able to have those experiences and not absolutely hate them or be terrified of them.
Yeah, it helps get rid of those stereotypes, like those Black people are like this or African people are like this stereotypes that go around.
Don't you have a gun? I see all the guns on TV.
I'm just like, I've never even touched a gun.
Yeah, I like, no.
Like this one. Like this one.
My blicky.
Not my blicky. Like, ma'am, I don't know how to shoot a gun.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't have one.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
not mine.
I'm like, I don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm cool.
Yeah, but I don't know about the whole gun stuff. So it does help get rid of those stereotypes for sure.
Yes.
Like, I love the fact that I have three Korean friends who have children right now, and their kids get to be around me a lot. And I always just like because they all call me auntie. But now when they grow up, I'm always like, this is gonna be so normal to you now.
Yeah.
Like, if you were to go to the States right now, you wouldn't be looking at Black people like, oh, y'all Black. It would just be like, this is normal.
Hey, auntie.
It'll probably be auntie to everyone now, because I don't even let them call me by my name. I'm like, we don't do that in my culture.
That's not me.
Yeah, don't call me Paris, or we're going to have
Stop
a problem, little kid. Because a lot of the older generation was not raised like that in Korea.
Yeah.
A lot of them are terrified of Black people or Africans because of these stereotypes that they see on TV or they've heard about. But seeing the younger generation grow up around like maybe teachers who are darker skin or just a little different, they're gonna grow up and just not really even care to stare at foreigners because they've seen it so much. So they're just like,
they're like, this one POC was real nice, so I'm gonna trust you a little bit.
All of them are nice.
A little bit more.
It's gonna be like, because it does tend to be like, if one is mean, they think everybody is mean.
Oh yeah, they're like, put you all in a box, the same box, the exact same box.
Yes. Have you heard about the Johnny Somali?
Oh my gosh, yes.
He is making a bad name for us in
listen.
Korea right now.
Stop it. It's an isolated event. He's not with us.
Yes, I'm just
He's
like,
not with us.
I see the comments and I'm like, and they're like, oh, this is how Black men are. And I'm like, whoa.
No, not.
This is him.
Yeah, this is him. Don't.
This is that guy. This has nothing to do. We're also offended.
Yeah, I'm also like, much.
Bro.
That's a little much.
Yeah,
That's,
I was like, I would see the videos of what he's doing in Korea and I'm like, bro,
no.
why?
You should stop that. You should go back to America and do that.
Yeah, do that stuff.
Don't do that.
They
don't
got
do that
blickies
here.
out there. Go do that stuff over there. Yeah, well, he got his ass whooped in Korea.
He sure did.
Well deserved, no offense, but
no offense, but if you don't listen,
if you're gonna terrorize people's country, they're gonna defend themselves.
yeah, as they should.
Yeah, I saw him get hit. I was like, oh.
But well, ask
Now
stupid
you're in
questions,
jail.
get stupid answers.
What is it? Go around and find out.
Oh, he
found
out.
Yeah, but I always see those situations and I'm just like, now you just kind of ruined our name
and now
a
we have
little
to
bit.
build that back
Yes,
up.
and does that ever get tiring to you as like an African American woman having to be overtly nice to make sure our image is clean in Korea?
Yes. So when I first like came here, I used to get the, "Are you from Africa? Are you from Africa?" I'm like, the States, and they're like, "Oh, the States? You have a gun?" No. And I don't. I read as a child. I'm a reader. I was not outside.
Yeah.
I was not outside, and it used to get so tiring. But then I realized they don't know anything else. They see everything on TV, and they just stick that to every single person. And I'm like, well, I'm gonna break the mold.
Yeah.
And now I'm kind of like, no, that's not how I identify. So I can kind of learn, oh, they need to be educated too. It's not because they're trying to be rude or mean. That's all they know. And the older generation, that's really all they know because of everything that they went through. That's trauma. They all need therapy.
Yeah.
To be fair.
Yeah, it's a lot they went through for sure.
But it's more like, oh, this is a teaching moment. This is something that they can take with them. And now when their grandkids say, oh, my teacher's a POC, they won't be like, huh?
Like
be
a
like,
POC.
they'll be like, yeah,
Cool.
I met one of those on the subway before.
Yeah.
She was real sweet.
Not one of those.
No. Instead of being one of those off of Euphoria.
Oh,
Gosh, the show has come up so many times, and I'm like,
has it?
yeah, and I'm like, that's where the oh, American Girls are easy. That's where that comes from.
Because they see it on television.
They see it on television.
I always hear that whole like in Korea, oh, American women are easy, and I'm just like, which American women are just tarnishing our name out here?
Yeah, because I've learned, and I'm like, I see where it comes from. They're like, Americans are open-minded. Open mind does not mean open legs, okay?
To them, it does though.
So open mind means I'm not gonna judge you for whatever you do because that's your choice, your body. Being easy is like, oh, I don't care what it is. Oh, I want to.
Just got goosebumps.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, I promise you, I am open minded. Not
Easy.
Not in that way.
Yeah.
Like I'm never virtuous. So for men to be like, oh, you're American, are you? And I'm like, just back away slowly. Back away from me.
God,
go
like,
away.
Don't make me take my blicky out.
I
will take it out.
My blicky.
I'll take my blicky out.
It's like my alien registration card, and I'm like, leave my blicky, run away. But it's very much a stereotype that I've not been able to break because every single man is like, oh, you're American. Oh yes, I like American girls. I'm like,
good for you.
Yeah, I don't. I'm not.
Get.
I think I know the American girls you're looking for. I am not one.
Yeah,
I am not one. I'm okay.
Yeah. Thanks. It's such a weird like the way I'd be looking at those people who think that. I'm just like,
yeah, like. Dude, if I listened to every single stereotype I heard about Korean men,
you would probably not live here.
Yeah, I would not live here.
Yeah.
If I heard and listened to all of the stereotypes that I've heard about Koreans and Korea, I wouldn't be here. Because it's all very coded, very, oh, they're so smart. Oh, they stick to themselves. Oh, they don't care about anyone else, which is not true.
Not all of them, yeah.
It's not a generalized population statement. Very much like stereotypes for Black people.
Yeah.
It's not a generalized statement. There are people who stick to those stereotypes. Good for you. I don't fall in with that crowd, but they can live how they want.
It's a choice.
It's a choice.
Yeah.
And to be putting those stereotypes on other people is just not fair to them, and it's not fair to yourself. Because you're given this world view of like, yes, I know what the world looks like. And then when someone doesn't meet that, they're like, cannot compute. Oh my gosh.
They deviate for them just from that just a little bit. Yeah, you're just confused. That's for sure. Yeah.
And they're like, you don't exist. Never mind. You're just a horrible person. If you don't want to be open-minded with me, please go away. You look like you're one cough from a pulmonary. Please leave me alone.
Wow. I'm gonna start using that. On your forum, you had said that you see yourself living in Korea indefinitely so far?
Yes, indefinitely so far.
Do you actually see yourself like staying here for a long time?
Yes, I
do.
Still, yeah. From the beginning, I was like, oh, this might be something I can do. But as I've learned and as I've grown and as I've gotten more comfortable with the teachers here and the people who are here, I've learned that it's actually a very stable and enjoyable place. And there are things in Korean culture that I resonate with a lot. Like the feeling of being in a community, the feeling of having a community, and just everything here being a teacher. Because being a teacher here is so different from being a teacher in the US. And that's one of the biggest reasons I came here to be a teacher, is because I love teaching, but in the US it's just not feasible.
Yeah.
It's not a stable job. It's not something that you can do long term and have everything that you need. But here I can and I can do something that I love while also knowing that I am in a place where I can have friends. I can meet other people that are doing the same thing I do, that have the same interests as me. And knowing that and growing as a person and coming to love myself as I have, I've learned, yeah, I could see myself living here long term.
That's good. It's usually the opposite. For some people, they'll be like, oh, I'll be here for 2 years, then I'll like return. So it's good to hear that there's someone who, you know, you view Korea very positively in a way that you would want to live here for a long time. But is there anything that you wanted to say that you think you have not yet been able to say before we end the episode?
Yes. So when I was in my bachelor's, I really thought that I couldn't do it because I don't come from a background of money and being able to travel places or being able to do things that are out of my comfort zone. So I used to be a huge fan of the show House. And there's a quote, and he says, "I'm eating the red berries." And it's because when animals see others eating the red berries, they will also partake in the red berries. So me being the one to eat the red berries from my family, I've seen other people doing what I do, coming here, enjoying it. So I just want you to eat the red berries. Be the one to do it first. Because if you don't, you're going to miss out. You don't know what's going on. And if you hear all of these negative stories, they're not all that's here. Yes, there's good and bad, but there's good and bad everywhere.
Yeah.
So if you seize an opportunity, seize it immediately. Because even though I thought I couldn't, here I am. And I'm thriving. And I feel so much better that I've taken this opportunity instead of being like, oh, I've heard horror stories and I don't want to go because I look the way I do.
Yeah.
And there's going to be all these people like looking at me and staring at me. Yes. But there are also people who would love to talk to you, who would love to just say, hey, I really enjoy your company. I really want to learn English. I really want to like be a part of something that I've never been able to be a part of before. And one of the parents here was actually like, thank you so much for coming here.
Oh, wow.
Because these kids don't have any opportunity to learn from a native speaker, especially not one from the US because we're really rare.
Yeah.
And she was just like, thank you so much. Because otherwise he wouldn't have this opportunity.
Yeah.
And you're giving us hope that he can be a part of something, this intercultural world that's coming. And you're a big part of that. And that really stuck with me. And
That is so sweet.
I really love that. And I really enjoy her and being able to talk with her because she's like, this is great. You were meant to do this. You're an amazing teacher. You're an amazing educator. You're an amazing person. And if you had not come here, I don't know what I would do.
Yeah. It would be very different.
Yeah. So I just want to tell people, take the leap. Take the leap, okay?
Jump in there.
Yeah, it doesn't matter where you came from. It matters where you are now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So seize the opportunity. Because if you don't, every chance you don't take is a failure. So take the chance.
Yeah. Guys, take that chance.
Take the chance. Eat the red berries.
I was like, I've never heard that quote, but yeah, guys, eat the red berries. Is there anything else that you think you wanted to say? I just want to make sure before we end the episode that you do say everything that you wanted to say, you know.
I don't think so. Actually, I think I'm good.
Are we good?
I think I'm good.
Okay. Just to recap, your name is Shay.
Shay.
Okay. I almost said Shy. Shay, thank you again for coming on the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Are you comfortable with us ending now?
Yes.
Okay, great. Anyways, guys, that was another episode of Korea Unfiltered. As I said at the beginning of the episode, if you are not subscribed, make sure you subscribe, like, comment, and share with your friends. And if you're a podcast listener, make sure you give us 5 stars so we can get up in the algorithm. Thank you again, Shay.
Thank you.
She's so fancy with this name, y'all. So fancy.
Thank you.
Français.
Français.
Bonjour. Anyways, that was it for today's episode, and I'll see you guys on the next episode. Bye, guys.
Bye.